Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hello, I'm Eric.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
God, we're back.
We're back for
one more.
The exciting conclusion.
That's right.
It is pretty exciting.
It is. This is where it really gets going. There's some stuff happens here that I fuck with it. I'm really happy with it.
There's
really
some solid action here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm here for it. I'll before I try to recap us on the plot, I'll give you a little more trivia.
Okay.
On the movie.
All right.
Okay. So apparently, the director Walter Hill told Arnold to, when he's trying to like find the essence of his character, he wanted him to watch a movie called Ninotchka. Do you know that one?
I do not know that one.
It was a 1939 film.
Okay.
About a stern, like, Soviet woman who was sent to the West, to Paris, I think, to sell some jewelry.
Interesting.
And she meets her, like, total opposite, this, like, freewheeling Frenchman. And they fall in love, of course, and, like, she starts to like the person and she likes the culture. And he was basically like, Arnold, watch that. That's sort of your motivation. And it's kind of a little bit crazy to think that they're watching something that sounds like a classic, like, sort of romantic comedy film and to inform what is a pulpy sort of action flick.
Well, interestingly enough, I also read in a different interview that Hill was talking about how, in his eyes, in a weird way, this movie was a classic American love story.
I mean, it is like opposites attract.
Right.
Thing.
Boy meets Russian boy. Boy falls in love with Russian boy.
Yeah.
You know, sort of the classic story. You know, the classic love story.
Boy meets boy loses boy. Whatever. Boy gets boy back again or something.
Boy kills bad guy boy in a bus, which we will get to.
With tons of dick and ball like references.
So many dick and ball references.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we're here for the conclusion of the flick. I will do my very best to briefly bring us up to speed.
Remind me.
Essentially, we got this Russian cop, Danko, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. He's been sent to America to bring a Soviet criminal back home to stand trial. The dude's like a major drug trafficker. But he's working with Chicago police, but he's also not telling them everything about what's going on because the Soviets are hyper sensitive about not wanting to lose face, and they don't want anyone in the world to know they have drugs in Russia or whatever. So anyway, they team up, they get the guy, he's ready to bring him back, except he's then busted free by his criminal accomplices, the clean heads, which is like sort of this Nation of Islam type of group.
Yeah.
Run by like this dude Elijah Muhammad, unnecessary character.
Right.
No, wait,
Abdul Elijah.
Yeah. So, yeah, each of them have lost a partner as a result of this case. It's fucking crazy shit. Yeah, no, that's completely irrelevant. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of mourning going on over these dead partners. Anyway, Danko, his main dude he's working with is this American cop Ridzik, who's Jim Belushi, and they're sort of finding their footing, working together to try to solve this mystery. They think they have this woman character who's like a green card wife of the main Victor. Russian bad guy named Kat, helping them bust him. Meanwhile, I don't know. It doesn't even fucking matter. Look, basically, they're there to bust this Russian criminal and bring him back to Russia.
Yeah.
But the Russian criminal He's trying to kill them. Also, he wants to get a key back.
Yeah.
The key is the MacGuffin
That's
of the film.
MacGuffin.
It seems like they think maybe they've got the bad guy on the run, but now we've just seen that, in fact, the bad guy has got them sort of trapped. He sees Danko. He's watching him through his hotel window. He sees that he's got the key. He's got an army of goons with him. They're going to go in and get that key, and he's going to, complete his drug deal.
An amazing Part 5 recap.
I fucking butchered that.
I could not have done it better myself.
Thank you, Johnny Walker. Let me sip some more of this shit.
This is how we do episode 5, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you're here for.
It's damn near midnight. We're drunk.
And we're watching Red Heat.
Red Heat.
We're doing Red Heat, y'all.
One of the worst Arnold movies.
Oh, unfortunately.
But we're going to see it through.
Mm-hmm.
We thank you for joining us. And thanks to our listeners on the Action Heroes Podcast Network. Woo!
Woo, woo.
We love you guys. Check us out. Check us out on the social medias.
Yeah.
At 6DOS Podcast on all your platforms.
That's right.
You're going to see some mediocre content. Tell your friends to listen as well, because we have a fun time doing it.
Yeah, we do.
When we get really honest about the level of quality of the podcast, that's when you know the alcohol's working.
Oh yeah, you know we're there. You know we've hit the sweet spot.
Eric's gonna bring us home here.
I'm gonna try to bring us home. We'll see. If I start snoring halfway through, just nudge me a little bit. So here we go. So yes, as Kevin indicated, Victor and his goons are in the building across the street. Once Victor sees Danko hide the key and the burnt out bulb of the chandelier in his shitty bedroom, they walk across the street, and it's actually a pretty decent shot because it's pouring down rain.
Yeah.
And the Cleanheads and Victor are walking towards the front doors of the hotel.
Well, Walter Hill knows how to shoot action, I think. If nothing else, he knows how to shoot action.
And it's a strong lead in to like one of the big action sequences to close out the third act. And once they're in the hotel, Victor strong arms the desk clerk to see the registration book. And so he brings out the registration book. And here, I can't get over this. I don't understand how this continuity area is so bad. Now, apparently, Danko is in room 303, not 302, which is what we've established earlier in the film. And
we went back and visually confirmed
this,
that the book said 302 earlier. Now it says 303. And we're like, is there something missing?
Right. And
that he changed rooms?
That's all we can figure, because the date is different on the ledger. Jim Morrison apparently has signed.
Yeah, the ledger's different than it was before as well. And it's like, did he check out and then check back in?
Right, exactly.
But he couldn't get the same room back?
So he asked for the room next to it. I don't know. I went down a whole rabbit hole with all of this. I came back with nothing.
Yeah.
And also, again, the ledger still says 1987, not 1988.
Yeah, it's very weird.
This is just, anyway, okay.
There's continuity errors on top of continuity errors.
I'm going to move on from this ledger. It will be the bane of my existence until the day I die at this point, and that's just a cross that I have to bear. So the continuity error with the 303, at which point, for no reason, Victor grabs the desk clerk guy and just rams his head into a desk. And I feel like that would have been a killing blow.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't die, but I feel like that should have killed him.
I don't even think it was necessary.
It wasn't necessary.
He seemed very willing to help them.
Right, exactly. Like, this was just an unnecessary kill, but we have to reestablish that Victor's a bad dude. So while this is all happening downstairs, we cut to upstairs, and finally, Schwarzenegger's topless for the only other time in this movie. The money shot that we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
He's showering in his shitty hotel room, completely unaware that all the bad dudes are showing up. Well, unfortunately fortunately for Danko and unfortunately for the Cleanheads, Victor decides that he wants Danko all to himself. And so he tells the Cleanheads that Danko is in room 302, which is what room he should actually be in, but apparently now that's not the correct room.
Right.
Who's in 302 is actually a prostitute who's completely naked, watching this very weird real show that was in Chicago called The Love Court.
Love Court, which was a detail that is like confounded Red Heat fans.
Yeah.
Because no one can find any information about this show's existence.
And it's actually credited in the credits.
Yeah, it's like excerpt
It's
from the
a
Love
real
Court,
thing.
like courtesy of whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, but yeah,
It's not
they
even-
don't know
it's
if
not
it
on
was like just a
IMDb.
local Chicago show only
Right.
or something.
Right, exactly. But according to the internet, this was not like a thing that they shot for this movie. It was an actual clip from an actual show
Yeah.
in Chicago that no one can find any record. I mean, this is straight up Mandela effect going on right now.
Yes, yes.
Right? Like, it's insane.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So weird.
But it's been a while since we've had any gratuitous nudity.
It has been
so
a minute.
they had
So
to throw us a bone here.
yeah, we're gonna throw us a bone, and we got one because this woman is hot, just like all of the women in this movie. They kick the door open, and she's like, "Oh my god!" It's like, "Where is he? Where is she?" She's like, "He's in the bathroom. He's in the bathroom." And then they immediately just start shooting through the door of the bathroom. But of course, this isn't Danko's room. Victor has completely thrown them off the trail by a single room. Like, how is the
Yeah.
architecture of this building laid out?
Because they're nowhere close to each other.
They're on the other side of the building.
Because as they're doing all this, we've seen, I think, like Victor is
Yeah.
like going through doors and down halls, and
like
it's like
standing in the emergency
303 is
stairwell.
apparently on the far side of the building from
Might as
302.
well be in a different country for all we know. Suffice it to say, this is not Danko's room. And this poor extra, who is this very rotund individual,
Yeah.
covered in fake squibs and blood holes, completely naked, falls to the ground, and we get the fattest ass we've seen in this entire movie, like just right in front of us.
I feel bad for this like poor bastard. He's like, he was just here to pay for some sex.
That's right. That's all
and
he
now
wanted.
he's dead. The dude probably had like a wife and kids at home, you know what I mean? Like we were gonna find out about
and this is how they're
now.
going to find out about it.
He got
Yeah.
shot up in a prostitute's like hotel room.
Because Victor wanted Danko all
dude,
to
that's
himself.
Sad.
Unbelievable. So meanwhile, Victor goes to room 303, which is where Danko is. And Danko, though, who is drawn by the sound of the gunfire, he comes out and he sees the clean heads, and they come out at the same time, and they just start shooting at him. So Danko blows several of them away immediately. Again, like, he's got 6 rounds in this gun, and he shoots way more than 6 rounds.
Oh yeah, that gun was magical.
It's a magical infinite bullet gun, and this isn't even the last time that this is going to happen. So while Danko is dealing with these guys, Victor sneaks into his hotel room, which he's vacated, shatters the one light bulb that's not working, that the key is in, picks it up, and boom, now he's in possession of the key.
Right.
Uh-oh. MacGuffin has been reclaimed by the villain. Back into room 302, which is the wrong room. One of the clean heads had the drop on Danko. He doesn't see him. He's about to shoot Danko, and the naked woman, who at this point is cowering in a corner, retrieves a pistol from her gun and kills the clean head dead. Like, drops him to the ground.
Yeah.
So Danko's like, he gets her up. She gets stressed. Like, I don't know what's going on. What's happening? Blah, 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 blah.
She will not shut up.
Just does not stop talking.
She's so loud.
It's not even clear to me why Danko's bringing her with him,
Yeah.
but he does. And it seems like at this point, because, like,
She was making so much noise, I was sure like that Victor must be able to hear her.
right, exactly.
What
but,
are we doing? What are you doing? What's happening?
but the only thing I can
It was
figure is
just
that
like-
it's throwing him off, because it looks like Danko's about to have the drop on Victor.
Well, I think Victor somehow we went to like another different side door to the room
Again,
or something.
the geography of this movie is just confounding. It just doesn't make any sense.
For sure.
But this is the point where the alarm on his watch comes back again.
Yes, time to feed the parakeet.
Time to feed the parakeet. So as a result, Victor hears where it is, shoots through the door. He
Great
darts into the
screams
holo.
from the woman.
Oh, dude, what an amazing screamer! Like, just horror movie level screams.
Yeah.
Miraculously, even though there's bullets flying everywhere in this hallway, no one is hit. Not even the prostitute. Like, she's fine, even though Victor and Danko are shooting around her,
Yes.
and she somehow
they're
survives.
she's in the between them and having a shootout in the hallway, and she doesn't get hit, which was
She
strange.
does not get hit, but there you
in
go.
other movies, this woman always gets killed.
Always dead. Right. Victor flees. Danko gives chase, but Victor like jumps through a window, and you're like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" He clearly knows something I don't know, and he does,
Yeah,
because
there ain't no way he didn't know there was a river out there or
I
whatever.
mean, look. Apparently, this shitty ass hotel was literally bordering what is it, Chicago River?
Yeah, something. Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, like, okay, I guess. Like,
so yeah, he falls down 3 floors or whatever, 3 stories into the water.
Into these calm, glassy waters, which should have killed him, but apparently he's fine. So, anyway, we cut to later on, and the police have finally showed up at the
Apparently
hotel.
there was much more of a chase that was
really
filmed, like where Danko runs out onto
that's right.
running along the river's edge, and like the guy climbs up on the other side of the, I don't know, some shit that they just decided to cut that out too.
Like, why are they
But why are they
cutting
out
the
action
action
scenes?
sequences for this movie? It's so bizarre. So, okay, so that actually explains a little bit in terms of like the time shift that occurs here.
Yes.
But the police are now at the hotel. There's bodies everywhere. The desk clerk is alive, but going like, oh my God, what am I going to tell my boss? I don't think your boss gives a fuck at this point. Like,
No,
this isn't your problem.
If that boss, like this dude is fucking employee of the year, right?
Right, I
Like
know.
he just got wounded in the line of duty, like got his face all smashed up, and he's like, if the boss is like, I'm blaming you for this,
Right.
Like, what did he do wrong here?
It's so weird.
The cop he was talking to was the actor Kurt Fuller,
Okay.
who was like, he was the Weasley mayor's assistant in Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, that's right.
He's just randomly
oh my God.
there.
Like this, and he has like doesn't even have a line of dialogue. It's like one line of dialogue.
Yeah, he doesn't. He may not even talk.
Yeah.
he was also like a shithead character in Running Man.
Mm-hmm,
But yeah, he was like, you would know him if you saw him
He
for
plays
sure.
the perpetual shithead character.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. So the prostitute, she's talking to the police about how she has no idea what's going on.
And they're like, well, why'd you have a gun?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know, what kind of sex worker wouldn't be carrying a gun in Chicago, right?
Right, exactly. And it's just fucking crazy. And then but then both Commander Donnelly and Stobbs are there. And this is like, why do both of these characters exist? Why are they two discrete
that
characters?
should have been one character.
Right, exactly.
Just the one, like, whatever, hard-ass lieutenant or some shit.
Yeah, look, I'm always happy that both Lawrence Fishburne and Peter Boyle are getting work. Like, I'm not going to deny them a paycheck.
Yes.
But for the very
This movie just had too many characters.
It just had too many fucking characters.
Yeah, there's like 5-6 characters that we could do without here.
Right, absolutely. And probably including Riddick, honestly. Anyway, Danko is like feeding him a story, and they're on to him. They know he's fucking lying, but I mean, what are they going to do about it? So elsewhere, back at Victor's hideout, we see on the TV news report that Kat's body was found floating in the Chicago River, and they're like, "What in the fuck?" Like
another like major plot point
that's just sort of glossed over
off
in a
screen.
news report. Just crazy.
Apparently, there had been this whole set piece in the script where Kat had helped them to lure Victor to like a Cubs or a White Sox game, and there was a big action sequence, like a shootout in the ballpark. It was supposed to have happened like before the hotel shootout, and whatever, that Kat had helped them find him. Then he realizes that she was helping to set him up.
Yeah.
And he gets away, though, still. And I think that explains why it just suddenly jumps from dawn to dark again.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think there was a huge action bit that happened in the middle that I have to imagine they never even filmed it. Because you don't film that and then cut it out.
Right. I mean,
that'd be insane.
The budget to film in a stadium, and you have enough extras to sell it. And
Yeah,
you don't. Yeah, exactly.
But I guess it would help to explain how it is that she got found out and done away with so quickly or whatever.
Yeah. So while the news report is filling in a major plot point in the background, Victor is getting his passport together. He's getting the key together, and that torn $100 bill that we can't seem to escape in this movie.
Yes.
Which is a MacGuffin for a MacGuffin. Like, it's not even...
it's so unnecessary.
It's not even necessary. Anyway, so Victor, he brings back the spring-loaded gun.
He's got it. He got it through customs.
And he tests it by shooting out the TV, which seems unnecessary, but
yeah. The newsman on TV was the actor Peter Jason, who we just had seen in They Live.
Oh.
He was the guy Gilbert, like the one leading the resistance.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Another 48 Hours alumni as well, like
excellent.
for Walter Hill movies. But that was just crazy that it's like, hey, there's that guy. It's that guy. He had one brief moment of as
one
the newsman.
fucking scene. Yeah. At the morgue, we've got Stobbs, and we got Donnelly, and we got Ridzit, and we got Danko. All four of these characters, which really could have been two characters for this scene. They're looking at Kat's corpse, and Stobbs says she died of a broken neck, strangulation, the works.
What?
And I'm like, what does that mean?
I don't know. I was just thinking, like, at least they didn't pull an Action Jackson with, like, whip the blanket off, like, look how hot she is. look at how hot this naked dead lady is.
Look, that tarp that she was under was pretty transparent.
It was a little bit. Yeah, it was a little bit that way.
Anyway. So Donnelly pulls Stubbs to the side, and he says, look, I want Danko and Ridzik off this case immediately, and I'll debrief you later. And Donnelly says, rightly so.
Why are they saying? Why didn't he just say this to them directly?
I know.
I feel like he's telling Stubbs, but they're standing right there. I feel like they can hear everything.
At this point, though, Donnelly says he was wrong about there being no downside about letting Danko do things his way. No, you're probably right about this. At this point, enough shit has happened that
like
you're going to be responsible.
And
yeah. I mean, even if this is a federal case, there's a lot of state laws that have been broken here at this point. So, and local laws. So Stobbs is very happy that Donnelly is unhappy about this whole situation.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
He seemed to be getting like way too much pleasure from this.
It's just like, what is the backstory between Stobbs
What's your motivation
and
here that you get
just
off on like cutting other cops down to size?
The same motivation for crumbling up a report on a bad person's near dwellings. Anyway, he tells Ridzik that he's on desk duty from now on, and that Danko's headed back to the Iron Curtain where he belongs. Sure. Okay. So back in the car, Ridzik is raging about Victor and the fact that, like, look, he's going to get away with it. It was like, well, yeah, it's the third act. You're supposed to think that. So Ridzik takes Danko to his ex-brother-in-law's key shop to see if they can figure out where the key comes from. And you're like, thank you, Deus Ex Machina. Yes. I mean, like, what is this the reason why you've been mentioning his sister incessantly for the whole movie?
This is something you should have done before you lost possession of the key.
The key, right? Exactly.
Like, instead of going to the jail and this and that, it should have been like, you know what? My fucking ex-brother-in-law is like a key master.
we should just like, go show it to him.
He might know what it's for.
Right, exactly.
It's fucking bizarre.
So
the ex-brother-in-law is played by this actor Mike Haggerty.
Yeah, Mike Haggerty.
Who's like, he plays every Chicago guy in every movie.
My favorite scene is in Wayne's World where he's talking to Ed O'Neill.
Was he the one whose like wife left him or something?
Haggerty got the pink slip. He got laid off.
Oh yeah.
And then that triggers Ed O'Neill to go on this rant about when you kill a man in the war, it's considered heroism. When you kill a man in cold blood, it's considered murder.
Yeah, he was in that. I mean, he's basically the real life version of like those Mike Ditka super fans or whatever, that SNL sketch. You know?
The Bears.
He was the Amco guy in that one Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. Like, he had to have been a Chicago improv guy.
Oh, 100%.
He's so funny.
Yeah, he's really good, and he's completely underserved in this role. But he's still got a great exchange with Ridzik about alimony payments and all this other nonsense.
He said that shit. I gave her the best 6 months of my life. That's an amazing line.
Well, that
might be the funniest line in the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, this completely superfluous but otherwise brilliant scene is playing out. Danko is flipping through a bunch of random key catalogs, and thank God,
the first fucking catalog he pulled off the shelf.
It's the right
pay
one.
Dirt.
And so he flips through it, and through just some sort of nonsense that's clearly completely made up, he finds out the exact location that key belongs to. Like,
right.
Not even broad strokes. He knows exactly where it is.
It's used in lockers at American Liberty bus station locations nationwide.
Numbers 1,000 through 1,019. Like, it's so specific. You're like, there's no way they keep records of this. That's not true. So he discovers this, and Ritz comes over, and he asks Danko if he found anything, and Danko just stares at him.
Like, buddy, say something.
Come on, man.
Help us help you.
So, back at the bus station, Victor arrives, and he slips the key to, like, main cleanhead, right? Like,
the main cleanhead guy.
With the beret.
It should have been the leader
main
of the
villain the whole time.
cleanheads.
Yeah. And so, doesn't he, he slips the key to the cleanhead, and then like has some money and then gives the money to the bartender, but then keeps the
I don't
torn
know.
100.
Yeah, it was very.
This whole
he
bit
bought
is
a
very
cup of
muddy.
coffee or something.
Yeah, it's all very muddy. So the lead clean head with the awesome beret, he goes in and he collects the suitcase from the locker, and then he heads into the bathroom to check the case to verify, and it's full of cash as expected.
Which seems like a ridiculous thing to do, though, in like a public place.
Right, exactly.
Like the policeman could walk in.
I mean, literally
You got a
anybody.
suitcase
It's just
with $5 million in cash.
It's absolutely insane. But it's not some random person who walks into the bathroom. It's Victor who walks in. It's like, hey, is everything okay? And
He's dressed like the Joker.
Yeah,
like this,
that purple
like
suit.
velvet suit.
Dude, we didn't mention this back when he's having that dramatic monologue with Danko. He's got like a shimmery velour suit in that one too.
This guy's like got some fashion sense
Dude,
to him.
he's rocking it. But so why he's checking to verify everything is okay after he did the key handoff, it's not clear to me what this whole situation
Not
is.
yet. I mean, I think he's in there to kill the guy.
He is in there to kill the guy. The clean head says that the drugs are coming in on the bus from El Paso, and Victor says, cool, that's what I needed to know. Deploys a spring-loaded gun and kills the clean head. Why he needed to use a spring-loaded gun is unclear to me, because the gun doesn't get used again for the rest of the movie.
Well, this is the moment where I'm like, why did you even have that other character of Abdul Elijah?
Yeah.
Because you could have just had this guy.
Right.
Like, you didn't need another detour to jail to have a character, the blind guy with the political like agenda. I don't know. It's just a lot
It's
going
just a
on.
lot, and
Like, if
none
you're
of it
trying to shorten
mattered.
the movie, there's other things you could have cut and left in some of the bigger action sequences.
Right, exactly. That's what I was saying. I don't know who edited this movie, but I think it was a monkey at a typewriter. Like, that's just what that's what I'm proposing. So anyway, by the time Victor's killed the lead clean head, Ritzik and Danko arrive at the bus station, and Ritzik says we need to split up and we need to sweep the bus station. And if Danko spots Victor, look, don't be a hero. This is a Chicago police matter. Okay, fine.
Well, he's
So they
like,
get out of the car.
you dig? You understand? Capiche?
Capiche? Right.
And he's like, I'm not on holiday here. Which I don't know. I have no clue
know.
what he means by that.
I don't understand what any of that
I'm like,
meant.
I don't know if it means like I'm here to be a cop, or if
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't fucking know what it means.
No, yeah, exactly.
I'm not on holiday. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Sure,
great.
dude.
I mean, this is where we're at the movie at this point, that I'm just going to accept whatever
We
words
just gotta
you're
get
saying.
this
We're just
motherfucker
trying to get to
over
the end. And yeah, we're just trying to cross the finish line here. So while Danko and Ritzik are getting out of their car, we cut back to Victor, who's approaching like a Latino man who is got a cart of luggage in front of a bus and asks him if he has a change for $100 bill. And the man produces half of a $100 bill. Victor produces the other half. He verifies that it's the same torn $100 bill and says that the merchandise is in the luggage, and then he's gone. That's it. That's his whole. That's it. That's the whole.
Yeah. Apparently, that same very character was like
Yeah.
in another Walter Hill movie,
Mm.
one called Extreme Prejudice.
Okay. I
Like
haven't
same
seen it.
dude in the white suit
Oh,
and everything. And I was
really?
like, that's, I guess, an Easter egg. Their
That's-
shared universe.
Yeah, that's not a.
Shit.
It's not a coincidence. That's definitely.
Yeah. Why not? Okay. Sure.
But he's gone from the movie. He has 2 lines of dialogue and exit scene left, and we'll never see him again. So then we cut back to Danko, and he's sweeping the bus station, and he's checking the locker area. And Victor has the drugs money. While this is happening, we cut back to the bus stop again, and Victor is loading the money and the drugs into a bus.
It's very unclear what his plan is.
Yeah.
Like, is he taking this shit someplace else now?
By this point, when I was watching it, I'm like, I don't care, movie. You just do you. Like, I could not keep track of where the plot had gone. Not the plot of the movie, but the criminal plot that was occurring.
Yeah,
Like,
the drugs and the money is never going to be important.
no,
again.
it's not important at any point in the movie. And I'm like, well, this doesn't matter. We just know bad people are doing bad things. Fine, let's just roll with it, right? So anyway, it seems like Victor's about to get away with it. He's about to board the bus and leave for pastures greener than Chicago.
Yeah.
But Danko steps out with his gun pointed right at Victor. And then Ritzik almost immediately steps out of a different door, also with his gun drawn, and tells Danko, look, lower your gun. Ridzik says that Victor's going to stand trial for killing a Chicago police officer, and then the Soviets can have him. But Danko then, his decision, though, is then to point his gun at Ridzik.
Yeah.
Which I thought was an odd move.
That is really weird. Like, are you really, like, doing this?
Yeah, like, what? I don't understand what's going on right now. He's like, look, I have orders I have to follow.
Like,
okay.
What's going to happen here? You're going to
kill a U.S.
You're
cop?
going to kill Ridzik, and then you think you're going to be allowed to leave the country with Victor?
I mean, like, just because you have diplomatic immunity doesn't mean you get to murder people.
Well, I think, I think they might say you can take that immunity and shove it up your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't care if we piss off the Soviets.
Right, I know, exactly.
At the end of the day.
It's so weird. So Ridzik immediately tries to talk sense into him, but while this is happening, an old lady walks out in the middle of all of this, like the most, like I don't know why is there it was so weird.
It was like in every car chase where you got the woman pushing a baby carriage or whatever. It was that.
It was exactly that.
The carriage is usually full of like cans or something instead, or it's like a homeless man pushing a shopping cart full of cans.
Yep. Just like in Speed with the homeless woman pushing the baby cart. No, it was
had
cans.
to happen.
It was just cans, right?
It had to happen.
So in the absolute chaos that this old woman causes in this moment, Victor pulls out his gun, fires off a couple of shots, and then scrambles away. So Ridzik and Danko are both searching for him. They're like creeping around between these rows of buses, trying to find him. And then I guess the bus that had the money and drugs in it,
right?
That's the one that Victor steals.
You would think so,
right?
He's not going to abandon the money and the drugs.
$5 million plus, I presumably $5 million of cocaine. I mean, he's not going to walk away from $10 million.
And so the front of that bus said Montreal, like as the thing. So that's where I'm thinking, like
reasonable.
Maybe his plan was like, I'm going to get this shit, then we're going to get across the border into Canada.
Yeah.
And then from Canada, maybe I make my way back to the Soviet Union.
So, I mean, we're analyzing something that doesn't matter because the drugs and money is never mentioned again for the rest of the movie.
Of course.
We're done. The MacGuffin has been paid off. Now it's just we're in a mad dash to the end of the movie. So the Victor's hijacked this bus. It barrels towards Danko, who's knocked down but not out. He's not hurt or anything.
What's crazy is Danko pops up like shooting at the bus.
Yeah.
As it's driving away. Like I'm shooting at a car that someone's driving away. Maybe you're going to maybe you'll hit the driver. Maybe you'll hit a tire or a gas tank. But a bus, I mean, I don't know, dude.
No, nothing's happening.
You're not going to hit the driver.
You shooting at the bus is the most impotent thing you've done this entire movie.
Yeah.
So when he realizes that his bullets aren't doing anything, Danko hijacks a different bus, and he starts driving out after he throws the driver out the door.
It was big, like Terminator vibe.
It was straight up Terminator vibes. Yeah. Ridzik shows up out of nowhere, sprints. Good for him that he can actually run, and catches up and hops onto the bus like, "You're leaving without me?" And so then we get a pretty decent bus chase.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
You don't get many bus versus bus chases in movies.
And it wasn't bad. I enjoyed this chase. At one point, he takes a weird turn down a one-way road and destroys a statue.
Yeah.
And Ridzik goes, "That was a fucking Chicago landmark."
Yes.
And it was pretty good. Ridzik's like complaining the whole time. Danko is completely just filled with bloodlust, right? He just wants Victor dead, and he's not listening to anything. And it's good. I mean, like, there's so much destruction, right, as the chase is going on.
We love that.
I mean, everything is like
buses
being
are
knocked
smashing
down,
up cars
shattered,
and parking meters, and
it's great. Yeah, it's a good chase. I mean, there's no denying it. I ain't gonna lie about that.
We appreciate that.
Good. I'm usually lying about all of this.
You make it all up.
All of these podcasts, I'm making everything up. I have no idea what's going on in these movies, but this time I'm going to be honest. This is a good bus chase. Oh my God, this is episode 5 for sure. So Victor drives his bus into a rail yard, but there's like a train that barrels by and he has to stop. So he backs up and he turns around, but now Danko's blocking his only exit out of the train. And here we go. It's time to play a little bit of chicken. And these two guys have a stare down from like 100 yards or more away. There's no way they could see each other.
Oh, no chance. Yeah,
but they still have that stare down. And at which point they floor it and they start racing each other. And Ridzik says, like, this is called chicken, and you're not supposed to do it in buses.
I love that.
Yeah, and Danko says, "This is no game." Oh yeah, because Ritzik says, "This is a game called chicken," and so Danko goes,
Right.
"This is no game."
There's a great rage faces as they're both like screaming, especially from Edo Ross.
Oh yeah. It becomes very clear that both Danko and Victor are ready to die, and they're just gonna like plow these buses into each other.
Right.
And Jim Belushi realizes that. Riddick realizes this and like yanks the wheel, and he completely topples their bus, and it rolls over on its side and skins to a stop.
At which point, dude, Victor is home free.
He's done. He's safe.
Their bus is on its side. It's not driving anywhere ever again.
And they're not. A train can't.
All
drive
I got to do is leisurely drive my way to wherever.
Instead, hubris gets the better of Victor. And he starts cheering about his escape and looking back. Yeah. At which point he crosses train tracks, the train hits him and knocks the bus over.
Fucked up, man.
Just completely, and just like the bus is destroyed, everything is destroyed.
That train came out of nowhere.
Right. So Danko and Riddick, who are, other than like have flesh wounds all over their faces, are otherwise unhurt.
Of course.
And Danko is furious that Riddick like yanked the wheel because he wanted to die for the cause of killing Victor. And Riddick said, "Well, you would have killed us both." And he's like, "Well, yeah, I would have killed Victor too." I'm like, "Okay, well, that's what you're going for, I guess." So they stop arguing though when they start hearing yelling from somewhere else in the rail yard, which is like filled with smoke.
That was weird. It got real like
Very
misty or foggy or whatever.
Like someone turned the fog machine up to 20. But what it is it's a train conductor yelling at Victor, going, "What are you, an idiot? You could have gotten us both killed."
That's insane. That was crazy. He's like so mad at him, like as if you got hit by me on purpose.
Yeah, like, why did you do this? What a dumb decision you just made.
I swear, I believe it was probably an accident. Not many people get hit by a train on purpose.
Meanwhile, he leaves the I don't know, the booth, the conductor booth, the cockpit.
Yeah. He comes out of the train and
then Victor just immediately shoots him dead. No hesitation.
Fuck that dude.
So Danko checks that his .45 Magnum is loaded. So we know there are exactly 6 rounds in this gun.
Absolutely.
At this point.
Yeah.
And he says, like, "I'll take care of Victor." And my favorite line in the whole movie, Riddick goes, "I give up. This whole thing is very Russian." And I'm like, The delivery was great. Like it was
nice.
Everything was on point. Might have been my favorite line in the entire movie. So Danko walks off into the smoke like a man on a mission, and Riddick goes, "Hey Gumby, honk if you need me," which is
it was a strange callback to a one line he had earlier about honk if you need me.
Right, exactly, which I had completely forgotten about.
I know, it was not like a memorable moment.
No, it wasn't. So, anyway, it doesn't matter. Danko and Victor spot each other through the smoke, and they start firing. Victor misses, but Danko hits him. He has 6 rounds in this gun. You counted 8. I counted 10 rounds.
Yeah,
fired.
it was at least 8 shots fired.
It was
at a minimum.
So many bullets were fired from this gun. It was just ridiculous. But mercifully, of the 10 magical bullets that he fires, enough hit Victor, and Victor is dead, lying on the ground, bleeding to death. And Riddick walks up and says, like, "That was some good shooting." I'm like, "Really? Was it though? Because you fired more than there was rounds on and you only hit him like twice."
Oh my God.
So Danko says that he still likes the Soviet model better, and then gives the 44 back to Riddick.
Man, I don't know. That 44 suited him pretty well. Like, it looked good in his hands.
Yeah, I agree. So Riddick says, like, "Look, you got an attitude problem," but Danko's not hearing any of it, and he goes to inspect Victor's corpse.
Right, sometimes you just gotta admire your kill.
Right, exactly. Like,
so
it's sort of like
when
hunters like get their deer and they like hold the antlers up and they have their friends.
You think you had him take some pictures?
Takes pictures of this bloodied corpse of an animal. So later on, Riddick is seeing Danko off at the airport, and they're both fucked up and still bloody.
I felt like did they come straight from the crime scene?
Again, this was sort of like another scene because like Danko does have stitches in the wounds in his forehead, but there's no bandages or anything.
I feel like you definitely would have bandages.
It's just so weird. It is like if you walk to an airport, even in '88, covered in blood and wounds. No one is letting you get on an airplane. That's just not happening.
Yeah, I feel like no. That's a no.
It's just so weird. But they're watching baseball, and Danko says that he doesn't understand the sport. And Ridzik tells him that he's not supposed to understand it. And Russians should just stick to knee dancing and training bears for the circus.
It's a weird, like
one last racist line.
Just a little xenophobia for your ass.
A little bit of xenophobia for the closing of the movie. Danko says that the Soviet Union does play baseball now, and that they're probably better than Americans, which is a bold fucking claim.
Yeah, no
whatever.
chance.
Ridzik says that before Danko leaves, he wants to know if Danko was really prepared to shoot him back at the bus station before the old lady shows up. At which point, Danko smiles and shrugs. And Ridzik says, "That's what I figured. Just checking."
I feel like this is the first in the whole movie. That's the first show from Danko of any type of like warmness.
Right, exactly. I know. It's just like, and you wait for the last scene of the movie. Danko says that in Soviet Russia, that it's customary to exchange gifts as souvenirs of friendship. And so he takes off his watch that has betrayed him more than it has helped him in this film and gives it to Ridzik. And Ridzik's like, "Oh, this is really nice. Here, this is my watch. It's $1,000 marvel of technology, but I got it on sale because my brother has a connection," which totally means it's either a fake or stolen. He didn't pay for this.
Nah, I thought for sure like he was going to give him that 44 Magnum as like
that seems like
here's your gift, like,
right, exactly.
Take it back home. But no, he gave him the watch off his wrist.
Yeah, and then he receives like Danko's watch and realizes that it in fact is a shitty communist watch. Like I don't know what you thought it was gonna be.
Something fancy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
Was there such a thing as fancy communists?
Yeah, I don't know what
like
those dudes could. I mean,
Soviet
I'm sure that
Union.
the Politburo is probably wearing Rolexes.
Oh yeah, but they're wearing Rolexes. They're not wearing Soviet watches.
But that working class people are like living in poverty for sure.
So anyway,
it's probably radioactive.
Out of nowhere, though, it's like Danko says, "Hey, look, we are cops. We're not politicians. We're allowed to like each other." And you're like,
yeah,
okay.
That line made no sense.
It came out of nowhere.
Danko, the whole movie, Danko's been the one being very cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Ridzik started out cold, but he's been trying to be a little more friendly in the second half.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then Danko says something, blah, 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 das vidanya. And Ridzik is like, "I don't speak Russian." And he's like, "Good luck and farewell." And Danko walks towards his gate, turns his back, gives Ridzik a salute. And then we smash cut. We're back in Moscow, and Schwarzenegger is in full Soviet regalia, standing in Red Square, saluting again, and then he walks off frame, and the credits roll.
That was wild. That was more of the guerrilla shit.
Yeah, that was. It was the last bit. So
it's like, so you took Schwarzenegger to Red Square to shoot this one shot?
The thing that is so amazing is like, what did they have to lie about? The biggest American movie star of the 80s.
Yeah.
He wants to fly to Moscow. What do you put on that visa? Like, what does that visa actually say?
I wondered if do they smuggle him in? Like,
I don't know.
How did this happen?
It's absolutely insane. But what is clear is that they did not have permission to shoot there.
Yeah.
Like, it was straight up.
They snuck him in. They shot it. That's why it was so quick.
Yeah.
And then they probably like,
Go.
Hurry back to the van, and we're heading straight to the airport.
Getting off of this fucking
planet. Or whatever, straight to the train station. We're going to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. It's crazy. The credits start rolling, and who was it? It was the stunt coordinator.
Yeah, it was like a tribute, or the film is dedicated to the stunt coordinator, Benny E. Dobbins.
Benny Dobbins, that's right.
Who like died of a heart attack on the set.
On the first scene of the movie.
Fuck.
Yeah, he was apparently.
It was the snow fight scene.
Yeah, they were filming the snow fight scene, and he had a heart attack during filming
and died.
It was crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, so never let it be said that movies don't kill people.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's we didn't know. It wasn't Iron Eagle where the pilot died. It was the Iron Eagle pilot on Top Gun.
Right, on Top Gun.
Flying for Top Gun who died in a plane crash.
He flied the Cessna in Iron Eagle, but then died filming
shit.
He wasn't even in the movie. He was like on the camera plane or the camera helicopter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, go watch the Iron Eagle episode. We talk about more articulately there.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's Red Heat. We've come to the end.
Yeah. It was an also ran Arnold movie. It was not like great.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination.
Especially given that Twins came out that same year.
Yes.
Which was a far better movie.
Far better, made so basically this movie it made money.
Yeah, it wasn't a failure. It wasn't a bomb.
What I researched was it made $35 million on like a $29 million budget, which is not great. I mean, but I'm sure it's made more money in like home video and and whatever else.
I mean, you contributed to that by owning it on Amazon.
Yeah. But for reference, like Die Hard was a $28 million movie, so Die Hard was made for cheaper than this.
Yeah,
and it made $143 million. And Twins was made for $15 million, and it made $216 million. That's money.
Wow.
Yeah, Twins I think came out at the tail end of the year, like around Christmas time.
Yeah.
And just was a juggernaut of a moneymaker.
I love that movie.
I want to say there's some crazy shit like Arnold made, like because the way they had all deferred their salaries in exchange for a cut of the profits.
Oh,
and Arnold made like $80 million for doing Twins or something.
That's how like Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill made all their money.
Yeah.
Lucas couldn't afford to pay them scale or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'll just give you a percentage.
Yeah.
And they never had to work again. Like everything that Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford did after that was because they liked acting, not because they needed the money.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, those movies made a fucking mint. Some other movies, the tops of 1988. The number one grossing movie of the year was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
That movie's amazing.
Yeah.
That holds up too, man. That movie's great.
Very smart, very still feels current.
Bob Hoskins, in one of my favorite roles that he's ever done.
This was a time when Eddie Murphy was still on top of the world. Coming to America was number 2 movie of the year.
God, 88, a great year.
It was crazy we've experienced this a lot in this podcast talking about these older movies.
Yeah.
Where a fucking random comedy was making like more money than any sort of action movies, like tentpole, comic book type shit. Like remember on the last one we were talking about like Back to School, made a fortune,
so much
and it's
money.
like what the fuck is going on around here? But yeah, after Coming to America, the next movie was Good Morning Vietnam.
Okay,
made a ton of money.
Yeah,
Big.
Yeah,
was out that year, made a ton of money.
Yeah, famously problematic.
3 Men and a Baby.
Wow, that was 88 too?
It was 88, made a ton of money. And Crocodile Dundee Part 2.
Oh, okay, well, that movie was...
I loved it. Then Die Hard checked in after that.
Yeah, that was at the end.
It was the top 10 movie of the year.
Man.
Rambo 3 was the 13th highest grossing movie of the year, despite being, at the time, it was the most expensive movie ever made.
Oof.
At that time, yeah.
Wow.
So Red Heat was way on down the list.
Yeah.
It was like it was a filler type Arnold movie. But right after this, I think he hit his stride. He did like Total Recall and Kindergarten Cop and Terminator 2 in a row.
Yeah, because that was like, Terminator 2 is 91.
91, and the other two came before that.
Yeah, so they were like 90, right?
89 and 90, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Which I think catapulted Arnold to being the biggest star in the world.
Well, then he followed up with True Lies, which only just cemented that, right? Because that was what,
he
90...
had Last Action Hero in there, which sort of probably hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Which probably hurt him.
Which is a shame because, like, if you go back and watch it now, it's actually...
It's way ahead of its time.
So good. I know.
It's way ahead of its time.
So forward thinking. Like,
it wasn't probably... It was so meta. I don't think people knew what to even make of it.
Yeah.
That was one of our very best podcast series was our...
Really?
Because it's like oh yeah, if you made this movie now, it would have been like amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a bit of a side note. The failure of Last Action Hero is why the Hans and Franz musical didn't get made.
Oh,
this is a whole
I
other...
could do without the Hans and Franz musical, to be honest.
So Conan O'Brien has a podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Yeah.
And he did a reading of the script with Robert Smigel and Dana Carvey and Kevin Nealon and everybody. That movie would have been amazing.
Really?
It would have been... Seriously, go check it out. He does like 4 episodes where they just read through the script.
Okay.
And it would have been fucking hilarious.
Was he a writer on Hans and Franz Conan?
I don't know if Conan was I think he was. He was writing for SNL at the time.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if he wrote any of the sketches, but he and Bob Smigel were really, really good friends.
Yeah.
And so they were working on this script together.
Okay.
Because Smigel did write the Hans and Franz stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And yeah, seriously, go check out those episodes of Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. It would have been an amazing movie, and it never saw the light of day because Last Action Hero was a complete bomb.
Yeah. It was. I remember when that when summer of '93.
Yeah.
I was like a young kid obsessed with movies, and it was like Last Action Hero and Jurassic Park were the two big movies of the summer.
Yeah.
And I saw Jurassic Park probably 6 times.
I saw that movie so many
and
times.
I ended up never seeing Last Action Hero, which is probably the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the word of mouth on it was bad. Like, I don't think critics knew what to even think of it.
It
was so ahead of its time.
I don't want to be that guy, but I have always loved Last Action Hero. And I saw it in theaters when it came out, and I loved that movie.
Yeah.
And I never understood why people didn't like that movie. And I just, as a man in his late 40s who has loved that movie.
You're not in
since
your
he
late
was,
40s.
Oh, I guess I'm in my mid 40s. I'm sorry. I'm very drunk right now.
You're not even 45 yet,
No,
are
I'm
you?
not even close to 45. Well, I'm close to 45, but I'm not 45. As a man in his 40s,
okay,
who saw that movie when it came out and has loved it since it came out, I feel vindicated that it has come into its own now after the fact.
When I watched that movie, which probably only happened within the last, 10 years, 5 years, I was thinking like, holy shit, this is the movie why we do this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, this was written, it was a Shane Black written thing.
It was totally Shane Black,
And it was just like, it's this self-aware action movie.
Mm-hmm.
It has like plenty of problems.
Oh yeah,
I think studios got involved and like wanted them to make it into a PG movie or whatever instead of being a hard R, which I think they envisioned it being a hard R. Yeah, give us a kid character, and like a lot of shit happened, but that idea, the premise, was so ahead of its time.
Oh yeah.
It would be it was 20 years ahead of its time.
Oh yeah, easily. Again, if that movie came out, even with all of its faults, if it came out tomorrow, it would knock Deadpool and Wolverine out of the way.
Yes,
right?
it was like that.
Yeah,
but audiences just weren't ready. They didn't know what it even meant.
Right, exactly.
Am I supposed to think this is funny?
Right.
Or like, is this supposed to be serious? And it's like, it's an amazing movie.
It is so good.
If you've never checked out Last Action Hero,
watch it
that,
and then listen to the podcast.
It's an amazing journey because it's like, I mean, there are lots of problems with the movie because I think even the filmmakers didn't know exactly how to handle it.
Yeah. They didn't
the
know how to
studio
market it.
definitely didn't know how to market it.
Yeah,
it's wild.
But that's a whole other thing, though.
That's a different thing.
Wildly off topic as we're trying to wrap this podcast
up.
Yes,
this is true. It's very late at night.
But we're also slightly inebriated, just slightly.
Yeah.
But we'll be back with another one. I think we have an idea of what we're going to move on to next.
I don't know. If we do, you're going to have to fill me in.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out. But we'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Guys.
With a new one. But in the meantime, enjoy this one.
As always, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it.
Always.
And we'll be back.
We'll be back.